Welcome to This Week in West Hempstead, sponsored this week by Speak Law PC 5168-731683. Let us solve your problems, and by Tiffany Dry Cleaners, environmentally safe pickup and delivery in West Hempstead and surrounding communities, 718-309-5222, and by I&D Glot Market, 327 Hempstead Avenue, for all of your shopping needs. Back from Passover, here are your hosts, David and Norm.
All right, thank you, Dan and Norm. Great to be back.
Good to be back.
And Adam, it's I think we've all had our share of matzahs and other stuff. Lawn signs. So somehow over the break, outside of the grass coming up, all these lawn signs came up, and the kickoff of the budget season is now upon us.
Right, big money coming out.
It's the first sign of spring, is that it?
I think it is the first sign of spring, and I think those who are already in power have their signs up already. I'm not sure if those who are coming up have their signs ready to go, but I don't know, Adam, what are your thoughts on the signs?
I'm voting for Pedro.
I mean, you did say there were some budget numbers had finally come
yeah.
out,
So,
right?
the New York State budget numbers came in. West Hempstead got their fair share. Apparently, they were off by $17,000, which
petty cash,
which is really like a rounding number.
Yeah.
They're whining just a little bit, but not a whole bunch. I think at the end of the day, the fact that the state came through was a big deal.
Right. What are the critical dates now coming up?
May 7th.
So May 7th is the...
May 7th is your chance to go to the budget meeting, ask your questions directly to the people responsible for formulating the budget, voting on the budget, and find out whatever you need to find out, make an informed decision.
And the actual vote day will be, I believe, the 21st, is what we said, right?
Correct. And
Tick-tock goes the clock.
So May 7th, do we think what's the big issues? What do we think is going to come up? What have we been hearing?
It's always the same thing. I mean, lower enrollment and higher costs. You have inflation hasn't gone away. Busing costs have gone up. Fuel is up. So pension funds are still up. I mean, nothing's going to change.
That's the important reason to go to the meetings and hear firsthand about these costs that are really beyond the school board's control. Transportation is one of them.
Yep.
They have a contract they're locked into with a bus company. The retirement benefits are not in their control. Infrastructure costs, it's not a matter of just splurging. It's a matter of costs that everything goes up. Everybody wants a raise. You get a raise. Teachers get raises. And there are certain contractual obligations in the budget, and the transportation costs, from what they've said, is the single biggest expense.
Right, and they are talking about furloughing, I think, 8 or 9 teachers next year. So
I think they've made that announcement. Notified 8 teachers that they won't have a position.
So they are taking steps. So yes, there are fixed costs. But Norm, it also goes back to what you said before. For the last 10, 12 years, you keep having enrollment going down, expenses go up. So at what point does something give? And what is it that gives?
I don't know where the breaking point.
We can kick the can down the road for yet another year, which we seem to be doing, but at some point, you're going to get into some,
At some point it'll happen where other communities shrink and you start to close buildings, and you don't want to see that happen, but at some point in time there's been no choice.
Yeah, well, one thing to point out, I'm not advocating one side or the other, but regardless of the number of students in the building, the infrastructure costs of the building don't change.
Right, you're heating a building no matter what.
That is true.
The building,
So I'm going to go into some rarefied space, and Dan can cut me out if he wants to, and that's fine, and I get that. But someone approached me 2 weeks ago with an idea that they thought was really interesting, and I didn't really have an answer for. So I'm going to put it to you, Norm, because you're right by Chestnut School. This person approached me and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm a developer. There's a huge lot of land here outside of the ball fields. The enrollment keeps going down. It's only being used for the early education and a bunch of executive offices or school offices. If they were to close Chestnut School and turn it into, let's say, high-end development, that would be bringing tax money into the schools, which is great, and probably not really result in any loss of ongoing education. Now, I could be stepping into something soft.
The fact
I get
of the
it, but
matter,
I'm putting it out there. It was approached.
No, the fact of the matter is, as you have consolidation, you will have to start giving up some infrastructure. You never like to see these things go away to developers because it's hard to get them back. If you need to build a school again, where would you go? You'd have to go outside the community to build a school. Nobody wants to see that happen. So, we'll see how it happens.
The school on Eagle Avenue is already
That's true
rented out
too.
to a
That's
private
right.
And the other point I'd make is God bless all of the development that's going on here, but we've already got Heatherwood, we've got the Capri that presumably will end up with a developer. I don't know how much more this community could sustain to make it all.
And that's a really good point as well. And I think, in case of developers, they're looking to make money. And, if it helps the tax rolls, it's a good question. Just throwing it out there. So Hempstead, the government of Hempstead, I'm not sure if it's actually a government or how you actually classify what they're doing. But today in federal court, they filed a motion against New York City about congestion pricing. So they're making a stand. So, good for them. Because congestion pricing sucks. Sorry. Do we have to bleep that? No.
Tell me how that affects the people in Hempstead.
It does. It affects everything. If anyone has to go into the city, is going to have to be paying more money. And for the simple reason that New York City mass transit is not being used. That's not our fault. So
I'm honestly, it feels just like grandstanding because I just don't see how it is that the town somehow is deeply affected by this. Individual drivers are correct.
No, and New Jersey as a state is also suing New York City as well. But I think the more organizations that sue New York City, maybe the better.
Good luck going against the MTA. They're the 800-pound gorilla. What they want, they usually get. Every year there's a whole bunch of hearings about raising the fare. Everybody says don't raise the fare. The fare gets raised anyway. So it's just almost impossible.
The less I talk about the MTA, the better. If you want to talk about bleeping.
It's almost impossible to fight the MTA.
But we like to fight City Hall, don't we? Come on, let's go at it.
We live for that.
Speaking of fighting, well, at the local universities, there are protests all over the place. We're not going to get into the political discussion right now because I think we both have to just bang our heads against the wall. But in the local universities, Norm, you were telling me that you heard something going on in Hofstra. I know Stony Brook is.
Yeah, Stony Brook was kind of a bigger deal. Hofstra was just a handful of kids, it seems. But they're instigators. They're coming onto campus and they're riling up kids. These are kids who are frustrated with life. They don't like their predicament for their future. They're paying tuitions that are too high, and life isn't looking rosy for them. They find a cause and they jump on the bandwagon. That seems to be a way to blow off some steam.
Well, I hope it's as simple as that. It's. I know there's a lot of layers of complexity there, and we do hope that, at least in Nassau County, and it seems so far that Blakeman is doing the right thing. He has things under control, and we can only hope for things to calm down and for smarter heads to prevail.
Yep.
All right, so I think right now we'll take a quick commercial break.
Tiffany Dry Cleaner is ready to handle all your cleaning, laundering, and dry cleaning needs. We offer free pickup and delivery Sunday to Friday in all communities. Give us a shot.
And we're back. And, I drove by the other day by Popeyes. We talked the other day about it opening up. It doesn't seem to be opening up. Next story, I don't really care. Pharmacies. We're going to be doing all stories that start with P. A bunch of pharmacies opening up on Hempstead Avenue.
What's the deal with that?
I don't understand it. I mean, there is the West Hempstead Pharmacy, which has been here for, forever. They opened up across the street. They're doing an amazing job. Is there such a need for more pharmacies in West Hempstead?
We're all getting older. We need a lot more drugs. What can I say?
I think so, but
it's aging population.
And I suspect that, and I don't know this for a fact, but it might be a relatively easy business to start up. Obviously, got to get your licenses and all those other things. But in terms of floor space, you basically need shelving and you need product, and it doesn't involve the kind of complexities that some of these other businesses.
I don't know. Maybe a lot of it is just a front for some online sales, and maybe that's.
Well, I think maybe you're hitting the nail on the head. Maybe if you want to look at the subversive side, I would also think that at some point when they start legalizing everything, these pharmacies will be open. So federal government's making changes. Obviously, the state's making changes. So we're all going to pot. What can I tell you?
Literally.
So I was driving down the Southern State Parkway today, and they were taking down, or they were about ready to take down, the old tourist building that's, I think, by exit 15. It's been there forever. It's been boarded up. Now it's knocked down. And none of you people knew that there was a toll booth there. That Dan, when did it close down?
So according to Dr. Google, it closed down in 1978. So apparently they collected tolls on the Southern State.
Is that where they shot Sonny Corleone?
Could be.
So what was it, like a dime or 25 cents?
Who knows?
I don't know. It sounds like another one of those boondoggles from some bygone era of building the Southern State. We'll
I
save
just feel
that
it's
for
another landmark that we're losing after the water tower and the dairy barn.
I say we resurrect Robert Moses and ask him.
Well, talk about the construction. I was at Kennedy Airport last night. I was totally amazed that they didn't warn anybody. I drive into this airport, the first exit, they shut down the airport access. The only way to get to the terminals is to go through the back end, back to Conduit Avenue, around through cargo, past the Uber lots, past I don't know what, until about an hour I spent at the airport just to get to the terminal. And they're paving, they're putting up new roads, new bridges. It's amazing.
It's
what
amazing.
a mess.
I think the amazing part is it wasn't caused by demonstrators. So, I mean, but wow, the Uber drivers must have been going out of their minds.
Out of their mind. You couldn't get a cab to save your life. If you're planning an airport trip, don't.
Yeah, a lot of times people don't give them, so if you have the TSA Direct or one of those programs where you can go quickly through security, sometimes people don't give themselves enough time. And if you take this into account, going all the way around, it's going to be probably an extra half hour to 40 minutes probably just to get
minimum
to get to the terminal.
Absolutely.
So if anybody needs a pickup at the airport, don't call me because I don't want to go until they're done.
Call Arthur Marks. We'll look him up.
So your Uber prices.
A quick shout out for Restorers. Restorers is always on top of all the holidays. They whether it's chocolate bunnies or opening up late for the Jewish community when Passover is over. They're always on top of things. So shout out to Restorers. Amazing job by them.
Amazing job. My daughter just came back with an egg salad wrap. I didn't realize they made wraps.
Yeah.
They have soup. It's amazing soup.
I think they made
pizza. They had pizza right after Passover.
Pizza bagels Tuesday night.
That's crazy.
And they care about the community.
Yeah. Well, they've been here. They are the community.
They are the community. And a couple of weeks ago with Michelle Sigelnik, we were over at Restorers and we were with Carl Restorer Sr. and we made the crookie because she said this thing was hot. So guess what? Newsday this week put out a whole article about the crookie and various places. They're like a month behind. We had the crookie. We love the crookie. Go to Restorers, have whatever it is that you want, but we're so happy to have them in our community.
Yeah, we literally scooped them with the cookie dough before they got to it Newsday. Thank you.
Crookie sounds like something you get in the prison commissary. I don't know.
Okay, so 100th year anniversary for the stables in Lakeview, one of the cornerstones of our community. We're so excited to have them in the community. They expanded a couple of years ago. You want to go ride a horse, go to the stables.
I took my grandchildren there. They took a pony ride around. It's really fun. It's a beautiful place.
And finally, Creative Corner, pottery. You have any pottery needs, go deal with Creative Corner. They love to see you. They have all sorts of creative stuff going on. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Norm. This has been a great episode of This Week in West Hempstead. We'll see you next week.
Enjoy the spring.
And if you want to try doing pottery on horseback, that's your own business. If you'd like to sponsor our program, much like Spiegel Law PC, Tiffany Dry Cleaners, and IND Glot Market, please reach out to us at sales@westhempsteadecho.com.
Welcome to IND Glot. We love our customers. We have the freshest produce. We have all the groceries you need. We have the best cuts of beef, veal, lamb, chicken for the best price. And of course, a bakery department with all fresh cookies, cakes, and freshest bakery item. And of course, with a takeout department with delicious food. If you need to place an order, do it online. We'll deliver it to you or come into the store and shop. We can't wait to see you.